What's up, YouTube? Northeast Ohio here for our little weekly chats, little Sunday morning get-togethers, going over the news, the nonsense, the prices, etc. from the last week or so in sports cards. So we're gonna do a little different again this week. Kind of a newsy heavy week. So we're gonna cover a little bit more news than normal, and then get into a few cards, and then get out of here. So, a couple little odds and ends of things first. One, we still have the Market Movers coupon going on. So if you want to check out the Market Movers software from Sports Card Investor, link is down below to check that out. And there is a coupon NEO for 20% off your first payment. So if you sign up for a monthly plan to try it out for a month, you get 20% off your first monthly payment. If you've been on the fence to get it for a while, that 20% would also come off a yearly. I know yearly is a big commitment, but you get a pretty nice chunk of change off yearly if you use it on that. Okay. That out of the way, on to the next thing. YouTube nonsense down below. Comment, like, etc. I'd like to see you guys smash the like button a little bit more than normal. I was just looking through my video history. I have very few videos over 100 likes. Even though they get, close to 1,000 to 2 to 3 to 4,000 views sometimes. So smash the like button, I guess. Is that what all the YouTubers say? Smash the like button. I would, if I was good, I would put a little graphic up of a little like button coming across for you to click on and like it and all that stuff. But you guys know where the like button is. Just click on it. Cool. All right. Nonsense out of the way. Let's get down to business. First up on the newsy thing. I saw this over at the Baubles and Ball Cards page. SGC apparently is, and this is the first and only place I've seen this. SGC is apparently suspending bulk pricing. So if you submitted with SGC bulk, you got it at $8.50 per card instead of $10 per card. They're calling a timeout on this until the end of the year, supposedly. I'm guessing this is them trying to throttle submissions. The other interesting thing from that video was apparently he had 2 more group submissions that he was planning to submitting, both one in November, one in December. And they told him to hold off on the December one, please. So I don't think they're stopping group submissions outright. I really don't know. I'm just going based off what I saw in his video. I was searching around the internet. I couldn't really find much else on this. I'm wondering if it's just not formally announced or they haven't formally announced it yet. I get what they're doing. Once again, they are still having trouble getting caught up. They're turning around bulk orders okay-ish. I don't remember how long that Baubles group submission took. But they're a lot faster than standalone orders. So the way SGC does it is a little bit backwards from everybody else. They prioritize bulk orders instead of you and me orders. So bulk orders move through the system a lot faster. That's part of the reason why a lot of people are still on day 75, day 80, day 85, day 88 of orders. I was looking through the blowout posts, and a lot of guys are still waiting for orders to come back from June. And we are now into late October. So long term, I get what they're doing. They're trying to clear out that backlog. According to that video, they're trying to get caught up by the end of the year so they could start next year off fresh. I get it. Short term, not going to help the prices of their slabs, I don't think. People like to pile on SGC any chance they get. I will not pass up on a cheap shot if it's there. Myself included, because I felt pretty burned by them as well. So I kind of understand what they're doing, but I do think short term, if you're holding SGC stuff and hoping the slab prices to close the gap, I think this hurts it short term. Long term, if huge if they can get caught up and prove that they're caught up and stay caught up, at that point, then I think is when you see the SGC slab prices start to close the gap. And it's not going to catch PSA, but at least make it more viable. Back in the spring, when they were, for that very limited window, were hitting turnaround times, their slabs were a lot closer to PSA than they are now. Everyone got pissed at them, and the gap widened. Everyone forgot about them and swore them off, et cetera, et cetera. That being said, if they can prove they can hit turnaround times, I do believe that it would help their prices out a lot on the secondary markets. That's the biggest detriment right now to SGC. There's two major things, and I'm speaking as someone that had 2 orders through SGC, has gotten them back, and has begun the process of selling. In fact, I've sold most of them. But it really pisses you off when you see your card in an SGC 10 slab getting half of what a PSA 10's getting, in which they're basically the same card. The holder's just different. And SGC cards, unless you price them extremely aggressive, which just pisses you off even more, are not the most liquid things in the world. And if you run them at auction, it's usually a bad idea. They don't sell well. You got to kind of best offer, buy it now, so on and so forth. We've been over all this stuff before. So that little bit of news out of SGC. We'll see what happens with that if more official word comes out. But that's what the internet rumor mongering seems to be spitting out based off that Bobbles video. So you guys can check that video out if you want for his full take on that. He is a big SGC guy. Next up, Panini has released the basketball schedule for 2020-2021 products. Couple things I want to start out with this. So obviously everything's pushed back because the NBA is pushed back. Now, that being said, that was the other big thing we wanted to talk about, which kind of goes hand in hand with this. Sounds like the NBA season's coming back Christmas Day. I thought it would be closer to MLK Day. There were some rumors of March. I think basically what happened, according to all the reporting and everything I've heard this week on podcasts, etc., is they initially wanted fans in the stands. They've looked to see that the virus is getting worse, not anywhere near better. And they realized that if they wait for fans to be in stands, they could be waiting a while. They want to get the season started, and they want to get the 21-22 season back to normal. So starting around Halloween, running through June, July, off season in July, and then August, September, October off, come back late October to get out of the way of the NFL. So this means all the product got pushed back. We knew that was going to happen anyway. So a couple things I want to say about this. One is right now the Contenders Draft and Prism Draft are the 2 first ones up to deck. Contenders Draft is out now. Prism Draft will be following very shortly. Tread lightly. Couple things. One, the college uniform stuff holds value like crap. It'll be hot for like the next month or so, and then the first real NBA product that comes out, poof, the floor falls out of it instantly. The wax does not hold great pricing wise unless the class is outstanding, and even then that's a reach. Personally, I wouldn't touch it. If I walked into Walmart and there was 1,000 boxes lined up on the shelf, and I could get them for $19.99 or whatever it is for a blaster box, I would not touch it. I don't think it's worth messing around with. It's too high risk that you could get stuck. Tread lightly. For all you people that just got into this and you're not necessarily familiar with your product lines, tread extremely lightly. There are still some 2021 products. I'm sorry, 19/20 products to still release. Clearly Don Russ and a couple others. We'll touch on those when they come out. They're not out yet. Hoops Chrome Premium. Those are the 2 big ones. But just be very cautious with this college stuff. The teams aren't even on there because no one knows who they got drafted to yet. There's not a lot of hype around a lot of these players other than LaMelo and Wiseman, really, and a few other guys. But even that's kind of like, a lot of people got burned by Lonzo hype. just be careful with this college product stuff. Know the brands that do well and stay away from everything else. Now, touching on the Panini release schedule, the big one will be Prism March 3rd. Get your tent set up at Walmart now, because Prism basketball is going to be insane, even if the class, well, by then we would have a pretty good idea on the class, but regardless, it'll be nuts. Hoops and Donruss in January are the first two real products. Certified's not that great. Revolution has a nice little niche, not super popular, but it's a fun little product. Absolute's kind of whatever. This is not the full list. We're not going to go through every product on here. This is not the full list. Flawless is not on here. Chronicles is not on here. There's a bunch of other ones not on here. Unless they're scaling way back, but I just cannot see them not releasing Flawless. Flawless is the signature highest end line that they have, even more so than National Treasures. Flawless is one of the few products that uses on-court stuff. It hasn't even come out for this year yet. It's one of the last products released every year because they use game-worn, not player-worn jerseys for their RPAs. There's diamonds in cards. They come in briefcases. It's a breaker's dream. Nothing I can afford. I think the pre-orders on Flawless are like $7,000 a box or something stupid. So, but take a look at this. Get used to it. This is what our next year is going to look like in regards to sport cards. And I have a feeling there'll be some stuff slipped in here that we just don't know about yet. Why we're talking about wax. Mosaic Basketball has restocked this week at Walmart. You've probably seen it all over the Facebook groups. It is megas and hangers only. If you get lucky enough to find some and you buy it and you are not going to rip it, or maybe you're going to rip some and sell some, my recommendation would be to you is to hold on to it until these restocks stop. Last time this happened with Optic a couple months ago, it was about 2 to 3 weeks, but basically 3 weeks total. There was the first big restock, a little mini restock, and then some stores got stocked, didn't get stocked on the first two restocks. Let that inventory move through the market. That's going to take about a month. Then wait about another month for that inventory to slowly start to dry up, and then the prices will rise back up again. Prices on hangers and megas are going to dip. They probably already have. I didn't look. And then they will go back up again as supply runs dry. You could set your watch to it. So if you find Mosaic, sit on it and wait. And this is not a reprint, guys. I know that this goes around every time this happens. This is not a reprint. This is extra stock that Walmart held in reserve or had issues getting out because of the pandemic. This exact same thing happened with Optic Basketball. They were not reprints. We got Optic Mega restocks. So if you find some, rip what you want. But if you want to flip the sealed, in my opinion, be an adult, pay off the credit card, hold the product through it, and then pay it off afterwards. If you don't have the money for that, obviously you can flip it for a nice profit if that's what you're into. I am not here to judge you on that. Next up, that's it for Newsies. Let's move into some market stuff. So this NBA season coming back nonsense just got announced on Friday, and it is still not official yet, but I'll be very curious to see starting from this past Friday moving forward, kind of using that Friday as a line of demarcation to see where the market goes from there in regards to a lot of the spec guys. And as we're going to look at a few of the players here, I just pulled out a few. The hype could begin to build quickly because this is a very short turnaround time, and we're going to know fast if it's going to be Christmas or not. The current CBA requires the NBA to tell the players within 8 weeks. They have an 8-week notice prior to them being able to start the season. So you start looking at a calendar, and if they wanted to start a couple days before Christmas, which I think they do, we're going to be there real quick. So I have a feeling within the first couple days, by the end of next week or this coming week, I have a feeling we are going to know what is going on with the exact start date of the NBA season. So let's touch on a couple NBA players and then get the hell out of here. First one up, and this isn't necessarily major moves going on with these two, but they still are trending in the right direction, even though very slowly, and we'll see what happens from here. Ja and Zion base Prism PSA 10s are both up a few percentage points. Ja actually up a little bit more over the last 6 or 7 days. 4%, 5%, nothing crazy, but just seeing green on these two guys' charts is good. Once again, I really think these two, Luka, Trey, and Tatum, of the modern guys, when I say modern guys, 2017 or newer, are the guys that drive the market. And we've been seeing some good trends the last few weeks starting to pick up with those players. Next up, speak of the devil, Mr. Jason Tatum. His PSA 10 Prism had a nice little jump up this week, up 20%, back up over $600. His PSA 9 is actually lagging behind a little bit. So if you were looking to load up, maybe take a gander at the PSA 9. And as we talked about in the Trae Young video, buying multiples of the PSA 9 for the same price that you'd pay for 110 more often than not pays off over the long term. Not always, but it's at least close. You're probably not going to lose on it, but you may win on it. Based off of the data that we found in that Trae Young video. And that seems to stay across most players. There's a few exceptions, but yeah, Tatum is up almost 20% on the week. That's one of the biggest jumps of the modern guys in his PSA 10 Prism. Next up, Giannis, but his hoops? What? And a user actually pointed this out on my last video regarding Trae Young, and I did look at this. I just didn't include it in the video because I've been trying to keep these around 20 minutes or less. I know sometimes I tend to run a little bit long, but what are you going to do when you like the sound of your own voice? So he had pointed out that based off percentage change, like Trae Young's hoops, PSA 9s and 10s were an actually better investment than the Prism, and he was correct. And I forget who made that comment, so sorry, I didn't write your name down, but it was in the comments on that Trae Young video. He mentioned it. And we can see here, Giannis's Prism PSA 10 also went up a decent amount this week. I didn't include that on the list because the hoops actually made a much larger jump at 22%. I know this is a little bit on the higher end of the spectrum, even $800, almost $900 for a hoops is a little crazy. But the pop count's pretty low on this, and it's Giannis. And I can tell you right now, if you think his card prices are high now, if you lend any credence at all to the rumors about Giannis going to the Bucks after this season, going to the Mavs after this season, if the card market just keeps doing what it's doing, it doesn't have to be batshit crazy like it was in the summer, but it's just, follows its normal ebbs and flows, new money coming in, et cetera, et cetera. If Giannis teams up with Luka, holy hell. One, that team would be insane, and the hype would be out of freaking control. Both their cards would go crazy. You'd be looking at the two best young players in the league on the same roster. As much as I hate super teams, I would be very interested to see that as someone that really likes Luka. So what a good idea, at least on part of that, if Giannis turns down the Supermax extension, which he is most likely probably going to do, and the Bucks will probably ride out the season with him and then see what happens in the off season. Last but not least, once again, we're seeing, and I saw a lot of movement on a lot of these types of guys. I didn't want to be here all day, so I just cherry picked a couple. RJ Barrett, pretty much all his stuff was going up. His Prism, this is his PSA 10, Raw, 9, across the board, Optic, all his stuff is trending up. His PSA 10's up 22%, so that's $30, up to 165. He is going to be extremely trendy. He's very popular because he's on the Knicks. He was a high draft pick, and he got kind of forgotten about because Zion and Ja hype. Big if he starts the season strong, puts up some big numbers, his card prices will, I don't know that they'll reach Ja's Zion level, but they will go up, and they will go up fast. I'm of the mind, I have some RJ Barrett stuff, just some base prisms that you'll see in a PSA submission video later this week. And I have some other RJ stuff like a bunch of raw optic, prism, mosaic, etc. that I will probably try to move most of it in the lead up to the season or the very early start of the season, uh, and kind of see what happens and just hold a few things, hold a few key cards back in case he hits big. But I will probably try to take most of my profits before he even sets foot on the court. I like RJ. I'm just not sure that he is as good as the hype machine is going to make him out to be. But heaven forbid for his card prices if he has a few good games to start the season. Um, we'll see what they do. They're a rumored team for CP3, et cetera, et cetera. They don't have a lot of. I don't think they want to tank. I think they want to try to make a run for it, the eighth seed. Why, I don't know, but um, we'll see what happens with them. Just quickly touching on baseball and football. Baseball, Dodger stuff's going up. Fernando Tatis is going up a little bit. Soto's going up a little bit because this stuff got kind of cheap and starting to level back off again. Football is 2 is up and everyone else is down. It's a little bit of an overstatement, but it's not that far off. 2's stuff got a little spike, or not a little spike. He got a pretty decent spike because he got named the starter. If he plays well coming off the bye week, so that'll be next week, his stuff will probably spike pretty hard again, kind of like how Herbert's did. And then literally most of the rest of the football market is in the red week to week, with a few spike ups for a few guys that have big games. But in general, at least at the top of the stuff selling the most, a lot of downward trends. There are guys going up. AJ Brown's up pretty big. But in general, most of the key guys are trending the other way. And I don't know what happens if people's now with basketball coming back at Christmas, are we going to see, I'm wondering if we are going to see an earlier NFL sell-off for people to jump back into basketball. So I could definitely see that happening where people that left basketball jumped into football, kind of like, just because they're addicts and they need to keep flipping cards or whatever. If they're going to be like, well, basketball's coming back, let me get back to the thing that I know and like, versus this football thing that, probably didn't work out too well for me. Let me get rid of this nonsense and throw that money into the basketball market again. We kind of saw that at the end of this basketball season began to wind down. The money was leaving basketball, going into football. I think we could see the reverse coming up as well. Once again, I have some football stuff. It just scares the hell out of me to be massively leveraged into football cards with the injuries and stuff. We talk about that all the time. So that's all I have for you guys today. We will catch you guys on the next one. Remember, hit the like button. Let's see if we can get this over 100 likes. Should be able to easily do it. Market movers, coupons, all that shenanigans, questions down below. Next video, because I've already recorded it, will 100% be a PSA submission preview video. It'll probably be out Tuesday or Wednesday. So we'll catch you guys on that one. Have a good week and peace.